Morning, sir. Can you tell me a bit about your background and the company you work for?
Good day. My name is Rhulani Maluleke. I'm a metallurgist. Started into metallurgical engineering a few years ago. In 2008, the concept of HAPE started building up. HAPE is actually Hermes Apollo Process Engineering. We actually process engineering solutions company. We actually innovate, build in technologies into the mining and minerals processes. So HAPE actually came in as a concept child in 2008, a full 100% owned black business, which actually provides the different types of solutions, technologies into the minerals and minerals processing engineering space. We actually started down with Delmas Coal, developing flow sheets for them, and then developing process solutions for their laboratory. So we built and operated the Delmas Coal laboratory. We actually built some of the units inside the plant at Delmas Coal. That was our first breakthrough. After that, we actually started doing different consultation processes throughout the minerals, energy and processing industries, of which we, in the last 5 to 8 years now, we have actually worked with companies such as Anglo-American, BHP Billiton, we have worked with EXCOM, we have worked with Vedanta. Currently we have a project with Vedanta at Scorpion Zinc in Namibia. We have done projects actually in Chile, where we're doing consultation, more like developing operating models for the industry. Prior to that, we actually got involved with companies such as Sasol, where we actually helped them develop the actually ISO accreditation certificates throughout their laboratories and the businesses. So in the space that we are, we're actually trying to develop into a company that is actually more focused onto beneficiation of minerals for African use. Our passion and our model actually conceptualizes just beneficiation and developing minerals. Instead of shipping out all the ore out, we can actually do it here and ship only the valuable minerals out outside of South Africa. So what we have right now is actually to grow and improve on the basis that we actually looking at minerals and minerals processing and metallurgical solutions. So all our metallurgists have been groomed and developed to a point where they can actually develop and get extractive metallurgical works throughout the business. So also one of the interesting projects that we're involved in at the moment is a graphite project in Namibia as well, which is actually Gecko Imeris JV. It is in Ochiwarango in Namibia. That's where the project is happening. In Mozambique, what we're doing, we're actually trying to develop projects through MOX. MOX is actually a Royal Bafokeng Holdings company that is actually involved in actually mining oil and gas services. So MOX stands for MOGS, stands for Mining Oil and Gas Services in and around the country. So they are an investment arm of Royal Bafokeng Holdings. We're building and operating some laboratories across the ports in Mozambique. Other interesting developments is actually with RBM, which is actually a Rio Tinto holding, Richards Bay Minerals. We actually developed a flow sheet and we do research work to actually take one of their mineral dumps and actually reconvert it back into a usable product. It's more like pelletizing. So we're pelletizing the mineral that is there. It's actually quite super fines. We pelletize it such that it can be charged into their smelting operations. At the moment where that project is standing is that we've done a piloting work and we're waiting for the results from their Canadian operation, which is actually their in-house R&D, to see if the product that we have developed is robust enough to be able to actually take them through. So those are some of the developments, and we're looking forward to building capacity through our links with various institutions to actually take young graduates and metallurgical engineering graduates, take them under our arms. Not to sound racial, but we like and focused to black engineers and try and develop, because there's a skill shortage in that department. At Scorpion Zinc at the moment, that's one of the things that we're doing. We're actually taking under our arms some of the natural Namibians. It doesn't have to be black or white, but natural Namibians that are actually trying to be engineers, metallurgical engineers, and then groom them, fast track them into properly developed engineers. So that's what our passion is about, getting the skill space that can actually be uplifted. And this is what we're doing across the whole African continent. And that's what is our passion, seeing developed, groomed, well-built engineers in the future. Thank
Absolutely.
You.
And what sort of research and development goes into your outlook?
Our research and development is quite interesting because we do quite a bit. One of the things that we do is actually associate ourselves with institutions such as Mintech, Anglo Research. That's where I actually got my basis. The CSIR, we've actually done some work. At the moment, we're doing R&D for Eskom. There's a project where they're actually trying to do auger. As a truck comes in, they auger and analyze the sample immediately to give a green go or before it gets off the truck. So the supplier will know almost immediately that this is right or wrong. So it turns back to the mine or not, because Eskom has always had gunk, which was sent through to them. So they're trying to do that. So we get involved in quite a lot of research work. One of the things that I'm looking at the moment is actually doing my personal PhD, but linked to the company. So the PhD that I'm trying to do must be actually something meaningful. And that's the reason why I haven't registered at the moment. It's because it must be something that will deliver a product that is a solution to African needs across. One of the things that I'm thinking about, one is energy. How can we store energy? When Eskom produces energy, how do you battery bank it at large scale? It can be done. I believe it's doable. Or into minerals beneficiation for industrialization purposes. So how do we actually get to unlock the fact that we are only selling a product and buy it back into the African markets? So there's a whole lot of R&D work that gets done. There's various things that we have looked at in both the minerals and actually into the energy space, and that's the core side of our business.
Are you looking at something to replace the next step from lithium-ion battery then?
Yes, that is actually what we're looking at. What can be done? Lithium battery is looking good, but it can be better.
Exactly.
The whole concept is, okay, my thinking is that there is a reason why uranium has got so many isotopes, and then when it becomes unstable, it releases so much energy. It means there's stored energy and vast amount of energy. How can we actually redo that? Bring an energy into a particular space and in that massive scale. There is a basic reason why it happens there. So if we can crack through and understand the concept of how that energy was stored in there so that it becomes nuclear energy, we can also do it. So we can battery bank whatever we can produce. We can battery bank your solar, for example, into something more and meaningful in a mass scale more than anything else.
And hydrogen fuel cells, a big talking point?
Hydrogen fuel cells, we're looking at it. The stability and instability or instabilities associated with hydrogen, we're looking at that as well. It's one of the solutions. So what we're looking at practically is vast. All the associated energy, it includes solar, how you store solar, how can you store energy in there at a massive scale? Because at the moment, actually, it takes a lot of ground. But there must be an engineering and chemical engineering solution into it to get it mass and bigger. So those are some of the things that we are thinking in the background, except the day-to-day activities.
Sounds like a very innovative company you're working for.
Yes, certainly. We actually try. If you look at our logo, it says Metallurgical Solutions, Innovation and New Technologies. So that's the space that we're playing in, where we can actually be innovative bring in new technologies that's not being used currently in South Africa, bring it into the African space and the African market.
And solutions for mines that are coming to the end of life cycle?
Solution for mines that are coming to the end, it's more of how can we increase your end of life type of thing. How can we extract an extra 2%, bring it back to life, so it actually gives you a little bit more. It could be a year more, or 2 years, or 3 years at the end, but also looking at the environmental knowledge. What can be done in that space, that whatever you extract, it's extracted efficiently, and whatever the product that comes in at the end, it's not a dump of all sorts of the nasties that will remain. So we need to have stable products that can be dumped in or backfill into the mine to actually cover whatever ground that you have removed from the soil. So those are some of the things that we look at and we think about all the time.
And the DTI, how have they been of assistance to you?
The DTI has been excellent. We have done a whole lot of road shows, pavilions, and also export type of work with the DTI. One of the ones that comes into mind is actually a China Expo, where we actually found a lot. We were in 5 countries. They took us through, and then we actually developed some quite good relationships in China. 5 cities in China, it's huge. So we developed a whole lot, and we got a whole lot of technology that is coming to China that we are currently utilizing at the moment, and we're exporting some skills. One of the things that we have, it's a relationship that we have built quite recently with Sino Steel, where we can actually bring in, we're not playing much into mining engineering, but they would like us to actually export some of our new freshly graduates to do actually a 2-year training in China within the mines around where Sino Steel operates. So we're excited to be doing that. We've been in the South Americas, in Lima. In Lima, we actually got a company that was developing some of the products that we didn't have, and we're actually quite interested in having that, you know. In Mozambique, that's where the project that I was talking about, where we're developing labs around the ports. We actually went into FASIM. It's called FASIM. It's actually an export trade kind of a show where we actually exported, and we met the right guys when we were actually doing a lot of work with them. So I would say and proudly say that the DTI has been quite helpful with all the projects the programs that they've involved us. Here at the Mining Indaba, for example, we have met up with a whole lot of people. Richards Bay Minerals, the CEO of Richards Bay Minerals, Mpho Motwa. Mr. Mpho Motwa actually approved and gave us a go-ahead with our pelletizing plant. And it's simply because of the DTI, they brought us in here, and we're actually looking for such programs to go on into the future.
Would you say your company encapsulates the word proudly South African?
100%. Actually, 100% is an understatement. 150% proudly South African, and we are looking forward to building more companies like this and developing this country.
And if you seem like a man for the future, what's the mine in 30 years' time going to look like?
A mine in 30 years' time, it will actually not be people going underground. Nanotechnology will be coming into space, so you'll actually send nanoparticles to go and get what you want and nothing else. So if I want gold, I'll be sending those nanoparticles down into the ground. They trickle in, they pull out the gold, they come back in and leave us. Your second one will be actually onto drones. So drones are actually unmanned vehicles that you can actually do a whole lot. So for example, if you have a stockpile, the drones will come in and tell you exactly your survey of the stockpile. This is so much coal, this is so much gold that is sitting in the stockpile, and such things. When you want to do your pipe works and checks, you know, so you just drive a drone, it goes into your pipe where it's stuck, and the drone will actually send a message to say unblock, unlock, and that is actually the future that I'm seeing. There'll be more pilots of drones going into the future in different spaces. It could be metallurgical, it could be mining, it could be any other mechanical and or electrical. They will send drones to actually go into a study where we can't, as human beings, reach. So I think that's the mining of the future, and it's going to happen.
And in terms of empowerment, are we on the right track?
No, we are not on the right track. In terms of empowerment, we have blockages that people need to stand to understand and unlock. For example, at the moment with minerals processing companies and mining houses, you find that you want to buy a product to develop, for example, and then when you get to it, you're buying, you're still using your money to buy, but there's blockages. People saying that you need to go and speak to company X. You go and check who's company X. Company X has had a 35-year deal with Anglo, for example, and then these guys have been actually the only sole provider of that product. So you have to go through a middleman to get the product that you want to beneficiate, and those things are wrong. You cannot say that I had a dealing with so and so in 1984 to actually be the sole provider of that. Where are we coming in as black people? How can we mineralize and beneficiate those products when we cannot buy them directly? So there's a premium that comes in there. It deters us from actually growing them. Side deals, actually, we have raised it with the competition commissioner, and we're hoping that it's going to happen. So those deals are actually blocking off black people from coming into the industry.
And in terms of legislation, how does that work in terms of facilitating the process?
In terms of legislation, there is no rule. You can choose who you sell or who you appoint to sell your product, and that is where the gap is. So we need to actually have a legislation that says, even though you have the right to do it, all rights reserved, but you need to bring in black people. If it's anti-African, then it's not right, because we were closed out long time ago. Now we have a new dispensation where we need to be coming in. So if you have provided side deals to company X that is white owned mostly, provide such to blacks owned company and then let them compete. Exactly. If X comes in, buys 100 tons, Y comes in, buys 100 tons, then it's fair. So such deals are actually deterring us from moving on. So that is the one space that I would like actually the government to intervene.
And the DMR, how can that be improved?
The DMR, yes, the DMR can be improved. I think the DMR is actually doing quite a lot of work, but they're not always reinforcing and hitting the right spots. For example, we spoke to one of the DMR guys. We got invited as a company, a black-owned company, and then we were told that they will help us get into the databases of various mining houses. That's not being reinforced. So what companies do is they say call one or two companies and say we cannot find black businesses in the engineering space. We can only get them to sell tissue paper to the mine, basic little things, or do gardening. When we come in, we do not get access to the market. But when the reports come out, they say we do not find black businesses that can do X. And I think the DMR, that's where it needs to come in. They need to actually be talking to the small businesses department in large. I think with Madam Sisulu, they can have a solution. Together, the DMI, the DMR, the DTI, and the small businesses hub, they need to sit together and see how they actually uplift some of the small businesses that can actually fit into the whole space and the spectrum. Because there's always excuses that there are not black businesses that are doing or working in the engineering space. That is fallacy.
Seems like it's difficult to break into the old boys club.
We need to develop our own old boys club, and
but then you'll have the same problem that the whiteys have.
Exactly. But that's one of the things. I mean, like, if you can break into the Buddha bond, let's do it.
Let's all do business together.
It's all business.
Thanks for your time, sir.